southeast corner and the coastal regions of China. So naturally, people migration and development, human development happens in these areas rather than the Tibetan plateaus, where it's really hard to develop anything because of the natural situation.
So what is the blue products?
It's really low, I guess. I'm not sure about that. It's near the Nepal border.
Are those disputed areas or?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't get the legend for this, but I know that it's moving from red to light, but the blue one I'm not sure. So, and yeah, this is the linguistic and different ethnical barriers where you see the major portion of the fertile and the more predominant areas is occupied by the Han Chinese, and all the others are just minorities spread all over the other lands. So this has precipitated over centuries into a regional imbalance where China is not developed as a single country, where there is huge imbalance between the various geographical locations. It's not by any motivation, it's by the physical presence of how China is, that the development is imbalanced. And this is a kind of it's not really exact, but if you draw an imaginary line through this part of China, you can see that below this you have 95% of the population, above that 5% of the population. So you say this one is hypothetically called as extra-economical China, and that's what China called. So all the focus, all the development throughout the ages have been in China proper, and the economical China had been a part of China, but not much into the race of what China is today. So yeah, one difference that really is between the two regions is the distribution of the mineral and the fuel, mineral wealth of the country. You can see that it's distributed throughout the land, not just in the southeastern regions. So now coming to the political timeline, just not going to back into the colonial era, the Ming dynasty and because it's not relevant to this state because urbanization didn't start at those points. I'll start with the first premier of the Chinese People's Republic Party, Mao Zedong, and then the successors up to Xu Jintao, who's the premier now, in the chairman of the People's Republic Party in China. I'll start should say the first turning point in the Chinese history is the Treaty of Nanking, when they lost the first Opium War to the British. They forced them to sign a treaty to open the major five ports, which is Guangzhou, Sichuan, and Ningbo and Shanghai. This already Shanghai had a big presence because of its port capacities. Now, after the opening of the port, it became an international center for movement of goods right in the 18th century, not just even before the freedom of, that is the power of the People's Republic Party. So, and in the 1930s, you had the occupation of Japan coming and taking a part of it, and then in 1941 they were thrown out. In 1949, there was a civil war. 1946 to 49 was a civil war, and then October 1st, 1949, the People's Republic of China came to power. And that party is still in power until this day. It's just the people who are ruling, the chairmans, have changed. But it's a single party rule, and they have been in power from that. And Mr. Mao Zedong became the first chairman of the party and the premier of the country. So when he came to power, World War II was almost World War II has just ended, and there was huge economical depressions all over China, and there was huge regional imbalance, which was the main focus. Like you can see, the coastal regions produce over 70% of the national revenues, and only 30% came from the northern place. It's completely predominated by the coastal regions. So this with the development of the Communist Party, which comes from the ideology of the Russian Communist Party, everything is owned by the state. Everything is run by the state. Everything is done by the state. So in those circumstances, there was a movement which happened when they said self-resilience was more important than dependency. So they closed down all the ports, they isolated them from the rest of the world, and all the focus was put into equalizing the differences between the various regions of China. So focus was on distributing the resources, distributing the economy equally throughout China, and providing a spatial setup for the development of the country itself without influence of foreign forces. So that started, and that's how the Communist Party was. They own the land, they own the factories, they own the agricultural food production, and they own the economy, and the workers work for them. In turn, the workers get accommodation, they get work in the factory, which is government run, and at the same time they get the food. There's no terms of money transaction between us and any salary or so. You are given all the needs that you have, and you service for the state. That's the socialistic, communistic idea of how the system was, and that's how it started in China too. And yeah, you can see that again, it's the eastern region, the coastal region, which was highly developed at that point of time, rather than any of the other regions of China. So there was a huge pressure from the Communist Party to stop this kind of an imbalance and create a drive which equalizes the country as a whole. So there was a push in that, physical push. All the industries which were supposed to be built were asked to be built inland, right next to the mineral sources where the sources of all their resources are. And as I stated, it's in the first 5-year plan that was stated by the Communist Party, 156 companies were, 156 industrial areas were planned to be built, out of which 50% was focused in the central part of the country. So the major drive has started where the government started pushing people to focus inland rather than just the coastal area. These were because of then there was the hookah system. As the previous lecture listened, there was a huge restraint between people from moving from one area to another. Migration was cramped up because everyone who was in a hereditary system were registered to that place. As in, they can't move from one physical location to another without a lot of formalities and regulations. If they do, they become illegal immigrants and they are prosecuted for that. So the hookah system has been there for a long time, and it was really enforced during the communist era when they said physical movement of people should be blocked at all points so that you don't really have the destabilization anymore. And they were successful with it. The movement of people stopped really drastically because they couldn't move anywhere. And because of the government's promise of every infrastructure moving inland, so the people started believing in it and stopped moving, and they were waiting for the resources to come, as in work to come to them. So that was the basic system. And then there was some amount of success in this process. They were having a good economical development during this zone up to the 1960s, the mid of 1960s, when there was another process that was driven, which is called the Cultural Revolution. You would have heard in the middle of the previous lecture about Cultural Revolution. It was exactly done in 1966. What they said was the class struggle driving force of social development, which meant that they wanted to deroot all kinds of capitalistic development inside the country. Every kind of financial enterprise, anything of that sort, which is not state-owned, was derooted and taken up by the government. So this completely crashed the